And a howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome back to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. And welcome back to the Radical Wasteland podcast, of course. We don't have Greg today. Greg is over at, I don't remember which school he's at, but he was invited to go speak at a school and act as a kind of a stand-in student kind of teacher there for a day to talk about producing lighting and all the different things. I guess it goes into making theater work on a daily basis, which is pretty damn cool. So we are taking a break from Fallout and entering a whole new wasteland today. And we're jumping into the new game that is Atomfall, which I'm prefacing, I've only got to play not a whole bunch during this past week that it's been out. But I've gotten to play about 3.5, maybe 4.5, 5 hours out of it. And so far, the mechanics are really interesting. I really do enjoy it. I'll talk about what I like, what I don't necessarily love, and some quirks about the game, I guess. If y'all have played it at all, y'all let me know what you think about it so far, and if you have any thoughts. Also, trying out a little bit of a new camera angle. Y'all know I've been doing a bunch of voice acting classes as of recent, and just trying to make the microphone do everything it's supposed to. So I had to rearrange the camera a bit while I was at it too. But yeah, Atomfall. What are our thoughts so far, y'all? Have y'all played it? Have y'all seen it? Are you interested in playing it? So on and so forth. My initial kind of thoughts are, if I'm trying to compare it to something, it almost feels like Fallout meets Far Cry, and then you take the joy out of it. And I don't mean like you take the joy out of it as in it's not like fun to play or anything, but it's bleaker, and not in a bad way by any means, but it is bleaker nonetheless. They don't necessarily add like all the quirky, jovial, fun little things that they can add to it that you're kind of used to in a Far Cry or a Fallout. It's not a bunch of crazy colors coming at you or some crazy mutated something coming at you like that. You know, it is very much you're in this world. You're figuring it out. It's almost like a detective game in a lot of ways. I do enjoy that aspect of it a whole bunch. It doesn't allow you to do a lot that, a lot of, I guess, RPGs like this tend to. It's not Oblivion or Skyrim or it's something that you can, move around the entire atmosphere and do stuff like that. It is fairly specific in what it wants you to do, and it doesn't necessarily keep you on task at all. It actually doesn't give you any quest markers. You don't get quest markers. You don't get to play around with kind of like labeling where you want to go. The only place that you can label is one spot at a time, and it is like the marker you have. It's the only marker that'll show up on your map that'll tell you like, oh, northwest, southeast, so on and so far. Oh, howdy, David. Howdy, Juliet. Howdy, everybody. Traveler, you prefer multiplayer games? I enjoy them sometimes. I'm much more of a solo person game. I just love jumping into a world and just exploring it. And that might be my favorite thing about Atomfall so far, is that it is totally just a world that invites you to explore. And that's kind of part of that detectivism, the detective feel, I guess, that it has around it. You totally just have to interact with anything and everything that you possibly can to figure out what you even need to do or what side missions you could go on. I don't know. There is a total like technical main mission that it seems like. Obviously, I'm only like 5 hours into the game, but it doesn't force you down any path. It doesn't even seem like I'm sure there are going to be some heavier focused storylines that are, subplots and stuff like that. That, hey, here's a side quest that can go off over here, and you have a big old thing that happens here, and with different factions of things. I've already seen that there are multiple factions. I've seen. I kind of did something stupid. I shouldn't do it. I just love like RPGs that allow you to kind of roam the world. Roam the realm is what I was looking for there. So what I did was, of course, you start the game. It kind of gets you through a little tutorial, and right after that, there are multiple options of like which way you can go, and you can decide your own fate. And I started to go with the way that the game kind of alludes for you to go to, And I was like, I want to go the other way. And excuse me, I think that was an okay decision. I found some really cool stuff, and I think I might have got myself a little bit ahead of the curve on some of the main stuff for later. But even though I have done that, I don't know exactly what I'm even doing or like why I'm doing it. And I'd like to go back and kind of go back to where I should have, or I think where the game kind of tries to corral you into. I went to the right off after you get through the caves, and I think they want you to kind of keep going straight or kind of veer left a little bit there. And I just went to the whole different area. It's just been fun, a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool things in this game. It does feel Fallout-like, and we'll get to that in a minute. But overall, it has a lot of really unique things to it. It's a beautiful game. I enjoyed Avowed playing that was that month, 2 months ago now. I don't play video games often, but when I do, I kind of get sucked in, and I played that for a week straight. I haven't really been able to play this too much. Nate, morning, how are you? What time is it in Australia? I heard AI people can spot you from miles away. Also heard people can respond at awkward times. In Atomfall, it's not. I guess they actually can spot you from a good bit away from you. But I do like the mechanic that they don't attack you unless you provoke them or continue in their eyesight towards them. So it's almost like you do provoke them nonetheless. 7 a.m. in Queensland. Hey, well, big good morning, brother. Wow. Excuse me. Dang. I love it when you're actually able to like join the streams, you know. We're doing them at the right time. But yeah, it's an interesting game, and that mechanic where they can see you is kind of, it sucks to a degree because the enemies are kind of hard. At least I'm playing on the survival mode that they suggest that you play on, and I have died a decent bit so far, which I don't love that bit. I have to get used to that. I'm not a big like Soulsborne or Bloodborne or Duskmorn kind of gameplay kind of person. I did enjoy Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor significantly more than Jedi Fallen Order because it kind of took some of that kind of aspect out of it. Like, I want to play a game for the story and everything. I don't want to just grind on the same thing over and over and over again. It's the whole reason I haven't played Elden Ring yet. But anyway, Atomfall doesn't seem to be that way. I don't think it invites you to grind out in that format. I think if you would like to, I think that would be like the really, really hard level of gameplay that you can play. But the survival mode, at least, I think so far has been inviting you to be cautious, which is a little bit of a slower paced game, it feels like, but that kind of comes with the territory when you've got a flashlight and you're just exploring the countryside and every cavern and every little ruin that you can find or city that is becoming a ruin. The big question, is it better than Stargate Timekeepers? You know what? I hadn't thought about that. Timekeepers is so far out of my brain, David. Obviously, it's better than Stargate Timekeepers, but it does something similar. Stargate Timekeepers should have been something like this game, just a little bit more snowy, a little bit more less atomic nuclear kind of focused and more Stargate focused. You know, it was very much that point and click, and this isn't a point and click because it's a console game and you're kind of going out through the whole motions. But if you're charging people $20 for a game, first of all, deliver a hell of a lot more than they delivered, because I will never be happy about that. And MGM, Stargate, whoever made that, like, come on, y'all. Come on. Anyway, was it Jennifer Salke? Was she in charge of that? I'm kidding. Hopefully not. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, but you didn't hear that here. Anyway, it feels like the way Stargate Timekeepers should have been approached if they were going to charge people $20. I know I just said that, but, you know, long story short, catching the brain back up to itself. It's not a point and click, but in that detective mode with that kind of flashlight that you use to scan the countryside, scan the little places that you explore and such, it's not dissimilar. And if you're going to charge somebody, do it. She's gone now. Oh, God. She is. She is. Hopefully, that means some good things for Stargate, Fallout, and all these other things. But that is to be seen. TBD. Hopefully, it's a good TBD. We shall see. But yeah, no. Definitely better than Timekeepers. Everything's better than Timekeepers, David. But it was handled in a way that wasn't dissimilar and could have been and should have been probably the way that they approached that. And in that kind of point and click about it, it really is a slow game. It takes its time to breathe. It takes its time to let you explore the world. And part of that is there's no fast travel. So that's something that I wouldn't say I dislike about the game, but it's not something that tedious is just a really simple word. I think that'll be a word a bunch of people will probably end up using to describe this game. Is tedious. It's damn good, but it's tedious. Damn good so far. I'm 5 hours into the game. Maybe the story actually completely sucks, and it's not good. The one thing I did explore a little village, and another thing that I don't dislike about it, but I don't love about it is the game doesn't have very many named characters. Most of them are just NPCs, like, oh, random villager here, random villager here, random villager number 15, you know? I don't like that necessarily. There aren't it doesn't seem, at least, like there are a bunch of different places with named characters. It's not that, even if you can kill them off, just name the guy George. Name George, Janice, Joplin. I don't know. I'm just saying things now, but like, you know what I mean? Just name a character instead of just have it be some random villager number 5 that it doesn't, just completely inconsequential, you know? I think obviously Skyrim and Fallout and what is Space Fallout? Outer Worlds, stuff like that. Those games just do that so well that it's like you can make little headcanons up about all these different people, and whenever you have that, it feels like the people that are making the game want to give a little bit more backstory. They care about the town more when they're making it, if the people that populate the town have names and characterization to them. There's just a little bit of a lack of that in at least the one town I've been to so far in the game. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of that. And hopefully I do. Hopefully 5 hours into the game is just like dipping your toes in so far. And there have been probably 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kind of named characters in this one town, but it seems like the one town I went into was run by the Protectorate, which seems like it was the British government sending their military after this place was kind of closed off. And at a certain point, they realized, wait a second, they're not going to let us back out either. So then the British military formed the Protectorate, and it's kind of, you know, a hyper kind of military thing that's attempting at least to run the grounds of this entire place. And it seems like the main capital, if there is one, if I found that, because that's kind of an area where I think I might have skipped ahead a little bit and added a battery or two to the main frame of this place you're supposed to have. I don't want to spoil anything, of course, but also I don't know what to spoil or if I even am spoiling, because I am so far at the front end of the game, you know? So, hell if I know. But I am enjoying it so far. For the question that is the title of this video and on the thumbnail, is it just British Fallout? Is Atomfall a British Fallout in general? No. Kind of. But nah. It feels like Fallout and Far Cry kind of put together. But it doesn't have, of course, all those quirkiness and all the fun kind of dark humor that I guess you get in Fallout and Far Cry. This is very much, of course, I used the word bleak earlier, but it's not bland either, because it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, it's well lived in. The world building is very rich. It's nice. It's just it's not approached the same way, and you don't approach the same. You don't approach the game the same as a player and in gameplay either. You can do similar things. You can just, I guess, go crazy, rampart, just boom, boom, pow, everybody, everywhere, you know. but I don't think the game's necessarily set up for that, and it's not necessarily meant for that either. It's good. It's good so far. I just haven't gotten a full taste of it. So one thing I kind of am interested in doing, obviously we do Radical Wastelands every other Friday, and we're typically talking about Fallout. So next week, we'll go a little Fallout again, of course, if Greg's on, because I know this is our technical usual week. But if Greg's down, maybe we can do Fallout next week, and then maybe, I don't know if Greg will be on board or not, but if y'all are in, I'll come back on the off weeks, technical off weeks, Radical Wasteland, and we can just find a new wasteland to go kind of venture into, you know. Atomfall, of course, is pertinent right now. There's Far Cry 7. We could go play the actual Wasteland games that were partially based off of Fallout, which Fallout based itself off of, excuse me. We could go watch A Boy and His Dog. We could watch Mad Max and talk about some Mad Max stuff. I'm just spitballing and throwing that out there in general. Because this is fun. I obviously love Radical Wasteland and talking Fallout, but I do enjoy Fallout-oriented things, and Outer Worlds is a great Wasteland kind of deal. It's Fallout in space, essentially. And this is English Fallout. I'm surprised there's just not dark humor in it, I guess. I'm totally okay with it, but just thinking about it out loud like that with y'all, I'm kind of shocked they didn't add anything to it, and I appreciate that they didn't, because obviously y'all Brits, y'all are cheeky, you know, and you got some good humor, some good dark humor too. If that would have been included, though, it totally would have just felt like a Fallout knockoff. It totally would have just felt like a Far Cry, but not, you know, because mechanically, I feel like a lot of the game, the amount of the world you can interact with, the way you interact with it, the crafting, the kind of half ability to go inside of your backpack, but it doesn't take you out of the actual like time of the world, so you can still be attacked while you're looking in your backpack and stuff. Stuff like that reminds me of Far Cry. Fallout is very theme, tone, so on and so forth. Just the way the world is built out. Excuse me. It's a really good game. It's a really good game that I've seen so far. Of course, I can't say that only playing 5 hours of it, but everything that I have seen so far, I've very much enjoyed. I'm gonna be interested to continue it. I don't know how much time. I'm not gonna be able to like devote the amount of time to it that I would love to. You know, like I can't just throw my life away for a week and play the game. But over the next couple like months or so, playing this, I think is going to be fun. I think it's going to be a really good little. Hey, I don't have anything to do for an hour. Got ahead in the work I need to do for the week. We toss on the game for a little bit, you know. I think it's kind of one of those, but it's one that definitely makes you want to play for longer than an hour. Another thing that I don't love about it, the I guess fighting in it is decent. I do like the shooting aspect of it. That's fairly generic, but also it tries to lean into realism. It tries to lean into the real world where, okay, if you're using a bow, draw it, hold it, you know, and do all that instead of just woo over and over again. And you can kind of get into that if you kind of get the mechanic down right. But the fighting is a little bit slow. It's a little bit clunky. I don't like the melee stuff all that much. It definitely starts off trying to get you to be more melee focused. It kind of invites you to not do that pretty quickly as well, and I leaned into that as quickly as I could. But the fighting is a bit clunky. It's a bit clunky. But I don't mind it, honestly. I don't mind the fighting being clunky because the story and the world is rich enough for me to want to continue to explore in. And that I appreciate the most about the game, I think, so far. It's just it's a beautiful world. It's got a lot of similarities to Fallout, of course. Not just tone and theme. I guess there are like zombies that are essentially feral ghouls. They're essentially irradiated feral ghouls spitting mutated goop at you, and that feels like a feral ghoul. The robots don't necessarily remind me of Fallout. They don't not remind me of Fallout, but they don't have that kind of once again, quirkiness to them that Fallout typically includes. It almost feels a little bit more BioShock, and I think I only ever played one BioShock game ever, but like a little bit more BioShock, maybe a little bit more Dishonored. Like I did play a couple of Dishonored games, just not as tonally dark as Dishonored, or steampunk. Although, come on, I love some steampunk stuff. I wish there was more steampunk in the world. Yeah, it's just such an interesting game. What are we getting over here? We should start a campaign to get Bethesda to make a Stargate game. Please. 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 I don't that would be so great if they did what they did with Indiana Jones, but for Stargate. Oh my God. Please. I don't know another word to use there. Just somebody make it happen. And I guess we could. We could start a little not a GoFundMe campaign or a Kickstarter or something. We don't need to raise money for that. It's Bethesda, but hey, Bethesda, if you're listening somewhere out in the ether, do it, please. It'd be so good. It really would. If they can't think of names, they could just as AI. They could use AI to make 1,000 names and then add them. It's kind of lazy, and that's kind of my thought process on it too. It's like I know you don't want to just AI slop a bunch of stuff, and realistically, that's the easiest way to do that. But also, just have somebody there, and it'd have to be a very British person because one thing that I do really like about the game is there's a lot of slang. There are a lot of terms. Nobody says something. Everyone says sumat, or whatever it's supposed to be. I probably didn't say that well, but y'all know what I mean. Like the locality of it feels awesome. I don't understand necessarily everything that's being said or going on 100% of the time. I've watched, I guess, enough Luther and Sherlock and other British shows growing up where, okay, I kind of get that. But it could throw somebody off with some of the language like that. But it's a good time nonetheless, and once again, invites you to learn a little bit and explore that language as well as just the environment you find yourself in. I really do like that aspect of the game. It's very well thought out, very very well thought out. It's not some crazy elaborate world, and if they would have thought out maybe some more thought out a little bit more of the characterization for just the general characters they do have, like those just random NPCs walking around, that would have been nice. Nonetheless, the world has been thought about. The things that matter to the game, plot-wise, are very well thought out. And that's where that little bit more of a lived-in world with all the NPCs getting names and little bits of backstories. Howdy, Tony. Would just feel a little bit better. I don't think it necessarily takes away from the game, but they miss an opportunity to add something very rich to the game as well. Yeah, maybe we'll get that in an update. Maybe we'll get those in a DLC down the road or something like that. I'd definitely play one with something like that. I'm not sure. Mirdis, though, down here says, super looking forward to another 17 season of Stargate, kicked off with the all the cast return. Please. Again, please. Everything with Stargate, just please. But no, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Mirdis. We're really hoping that they get something announced here soon, that something gets off the rocker and into the roller. That one didn't work. I tried. We'll find a good metaphor or something for that at some point. But yeah, hopefully the ball gets rolling and something can happen now that Salky's out, and it seems like decision making can be made again. That'd be very nice to see. But yeah. And if we can get Bethesda to make a Stargate game, life would be more than great. But Atomfall, honestly, I don't know the group of developers behind Atomfall. Real quick, I did just see a chat, whatever I'm trying to say, off your rocker goes crazy. Well, I'm off my rocker. I've been off my rocker for a while. Oh my god, I'm clicking buttons. Atomfall developer. Rebellion Developments. That's right, Rebellion. I don't really know many Rebellion games, I don't think. It does whenever I Google it. It says the game was inspired by Fallout New Vegas, which was described by Ben Fisher, associate head of design at Rebellion, as a dense experience and one that valued player choice. That is most definitely what this does. Player choice is huge in it. Rebellion developments. Let me bring this up so y'all can see it as well. Share screen. They've done Evil Genius. I've seen those games. I've never played them. Let's see what else they've done. Okay, so they're from Oxford, so they're definitely an English company. They've got Atomfall. They've got comics. They've got books. They have TV and film. 2020, they had the PlayStation Revolution. 2021, they had Schools Out Forever and TV and film. Books, they have Ritual Crime Unit, Enter the Meta, The 10% Thief, and Put Away Childish Things, and The Iron Children. Comics, oh, they have a Dredd. Cool, Judge Dredd the movie, but in comic form, I guess. Battle Action 2024, Nemesis the Warlock, Shakara, the complete collection. That just sounds cool. Ad Eterno, Run the Grim, and Judge Dredd, the complete Case Files 46. That's interesting. Games, though. Sniper Elite, Zombie Army, Atomfall. Okay, so they're the Sniper Elite people. Evil Genius, Zombie Army. Zombie Army Dead War. I feel like I've seen those. I just never played them. I never played the Sniper Elites as well, but I know they're beloved amongst plenty of people. Evil Genius, Strange Brigade. Is it Arca's Path? Arca's Path. Battlezone, Combat Commander, Rogue Trooper Redux. Y'all recognize any of these? They did Sniper Elite. Cool. So you would say you're crazy, or you could say you're off your rocker. Damn right, Traveler. Wolf. The Red Hood Diaries. Battlezone. Huh. Free Running, Rogue Trooper. Oh, they've done Judge Dredd games as well. Lord of the Realms, Ground Control. There's OG Evil Genius, Moonbase Commander, Aliens versus Predator, Gunlock, Lords of Magic, Lords of the Realms 2. Okay, so they've done a lot of different games. Still not super familiar with them. David saying he loves the Sniper Elite games. Not the best graphics, but so much fun, especially when slow motion shooting. I can see that. I do like the shooting is the best part of the fighting, but it's not perfect in this game by any means. You can find them on YouTube. I'm gonna have to check them out. Whenever you zoom in with your scope, you actually get a pretty good way of shooting, but it's so slow on sensitivity, even with raising it up. It's kind of wild. Did you see the Stargate Atlantis game? Monk, doing well. How are you? I did. I guess I'm doing well. I went to see Minecraft earlier, which is why this had to be pushed back. I think I liked A Working Man more than Minecraft. Minecraft has the elements of something that could have been much, 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 much better than what it was. But instead, it goes for cheap jokes and not cheap shots, but just cheap jokes. Soulless kind of bits of uselessness, I guess, instead of actual. They had inklings. They had really cool ideas. And then we're like, here's our idea. Let me tell you it real quick and make a joke out of it instead of just, if you're going to spend the type of money to make that type of movie and spend the money they made to make that movie, just do the really cool things. Modded Minecraft is where the real fun is at. I've never been much of a Minecraft person, but I would assume that would be the case. And they lean into that at certain points. I feel like they could have leaned into that more, and it would have been really cool in a way. There were a few kids there, and I don't know. Did my roommate get back yet? I don't know. We went to go see it. There was one moment where kids laughed. There was a second moment where kids chuckled. There was one true moment when there was a laugh, and it was because what's her name from Peacemaker bounces off of something and hits her butt on something and goes. She stands up, is like, "Oh, my butt!" and a bunch of kids laughed at that, and that was the single laugh from children in the entire movie. There were probably 2 Jennifer Coolidge moments. Jennifer Coolidge should not have been in this movie. That was completely useless. It was just kind of a background thing, and that was there for the adults. There were 2 decent chuckles that adults will get out of that, but damn. Minecraft is not a Wasteland that we will be covering in the Radical Wasteland. And that movie solidified it. I don't think Borderlands is one that I'm super familiar with either. The movie is one that we will definitely not be Radical Wastelanding over anytime soon. But, I might eventually go try those games out. I never really played them much. But yeah, oh my God. Minecraft was awful, y'all. It was so bad. I say a working man over Minecraft simply because a working man at least wanted to say something. It took the cheapest approach in storytelling to do so every single time. And here's and the difference was where I say Minecraft had ideas and were like, let's tell you the idea, make a joke out of it, and then just go to the next scene instead. A working man was like, okay, we have this really cool idea, and we'll try it. And I appreciate that they did, at least that they tried it. But a working man didn't ever really let those moments breathe. It was more like, we want this in the movie, so we're going to put it in there. And at least try it, where this was like, oh, well, we want that in there, so we'll just talk about it for a second. And it was just shite. Nothing but shite to be talking about the British ways of things, It's also the American version. It's shit. It's shit and it's shite. Sorry, Minecraft lovers. It just... I never was a Minecraft person. If they would have taken the moments that both the Working Man and Minecraft, if they would have taken the moments that they had and just let them breathe, both could have been good. Both could have been good. Anyway, never played Fallout London. You could do a stream about that. That is true. I really would like to do Fallout London, and I really wish they were going to be able to continue making Fallout Mexico and stuff like that. The thing about that is I do not have Fallout on my computer. I'm not a computer gamer, really. And that's more of a computer mod. Excuse me. Let me Google real quick. Can you play Fallout London on Xbox? Will Fallout London be on console? We do not plan to bring Fallout London to any platform other than PC at this time. Damn. Well, that is that. Shoot. Yeah. That would be a really fun one to play. Borderlands would be one I'd jump back into. Dishonored, we talked about Dishonored a minute ago. That's a bit of a wasteland in its own way. It's definitely a wasteland in its own way. Is it post-apocalyptic? It's kind of post-apocalyptic steampunk. And it's also British. Isn't it? I remember it being pretty British. But it's also been since 2014 since I played Dishonored, so I think it's British. I remember it being British. Don't necessarily 1,000% remember. Real quick though, Meredith is saying, "Hope people who care about the Zelda movie. I hope people who care about the Zelda movie. The Mario movie seemed much better received than any adaptations this year. The Mario movie did exactly what Minecraft tried to do. Minecraft did exactly what Mario did and bastardized it. It's essentially the same plots, just changed over for Minecraft from Mario and bastardized. Yeah, but Zelda. I only ever played 2 of the games. I don't even remember which 2. I have my old DS that I keep in here. I could tell you one of them. I don't know if I still have the other one. But I never really was the biggest Zelda person, but I really liked the little bits of Zelda that I did play as a kid. Oh my god, where is it here? It's right here. I was hoping it would just pop up. Is it inside of a game? Ooh, Sonic. I got all my old little GameStop and not GameStop, Game Boy and DS games right here. Okay, but I can't find frickin' Zelda for some reason. Hey, my old cheat code thingy. But yeah, played a couple Zelda games, not a whole bunch of them, so I don't really know Zelda in and out by any means. But at least the guy that's making it, Wes Ball, is the guy that did Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which I don't know if y'all seen or not, but you've probably seen me and heard me gush about it plenty because it's so damn good. He's going to be in charge of Zelda. And I don't think there are very many people in all of Hollywood and Hollywood adjacent that care about something that they make as much as Wes Ball cares about something that he makes. So I think we're in good hands. I think we're in great hands. Hey-o, howdy, Peter. Tony ever only really played the OG Zelda game, the gold cartridge for NES. Did put a few hundred hours into that, as you should. Isn't it time that you learn to play on the superior platform PC? I've always had Steam and kind of like I don't not play games, I guess, on the computer, but also I just much prefer a console. I just like the interface so much better. PC even has a great controller support these days, especially with the wireless Xbox controller adapter thing. If only Nintendo sold ROMs on PC, yeah. Well, yeah, I've also thought about that. Like, kind of, it's still Game Pass. Like, it's not really all that much different at the end of the day. It's still Game Pass. If you're using Xbox, like I do, of course, and you can just plug in your controller. So it's ultimately not all that different. I would just rather play on my TV than on my computer screen. You know, I'd rather be able to have a straight back, sit back, or stand up and play versus hunch over and, you know, my neck turns into like that weird meme by the time I'm 40. You know, I don't want that. You know, but Game Pass Ultimate is the way. Then is that both? Because that's actually pretty sick. That might be good. My computer setup is 2 wall-mounted 4K 65-inch TVs in my bed. Now, if I had that set up, it'd be a whole different story, Meredith. That's badass. That is awesome. I'm jealous. That's awesome. That would be sick. That would be. I'd spend my life in Skyrim right there again. That would make me play Skyrim. Like, I would just wake up in Skyrim. Anyway, the problem with adapting video games to films, like Big Wow. The problem with adapting video games to films in the video game format does a much better job of using the material, with a few exceptions. Yeah, and then even whenever you focus on the story aspect of a video game, like Last of Us is the example that comes to mind. I never played the games, but I wanted to see more video game-like things in the TV show. Like, I get that they're going for that a very high standard HBO level show of this high kind of a high art feel to it, and they achieved it. But it's also a freaking zombie game. I know Last of Us people are like, they're not zombies or whatever, but zombie realm, the realm of zombies, you know, I would have loved to have at least seen them matter to the world. We only saw one little bit of zombies in season 1, which was attacking the city, and all we see is that attack happening as everybody is like running away. And okay, well, it attacked them. We're good now. And there's some. I guess at the beginning, when the wife, spoiler alert, it didn't last too long. Those 2 moments are about all that I can think of that were like great zombie-like moments from that. I'd rather watch The Walking Dead season 1 over The Last of Us 10 times out of 10. And I feel like Last of Us could have leaned into the video game aspect of it and just done really well. The story was awesome. Just did they forget what world they were in anyway, and that is a big problem. Borderlands, I think, I don't know if it was you or Traveler or somebody earlier commented and said Borderlands was bargain bin's Guardians of the Galaxy in a huge way, and it shouldn't be. I once again didn't play a whole bunch of Borderlands, just not one of the few IPs that I've just been kind of like heavy-handed on throughout life, but you can tell none of that is in the first game, or at least part of that was not in the first game. It was you. Okay. You can just tell that they're trying to be something that it's not. And Last of Us Season 1 felt like it was trying to be something it was not. And while it did achieve a higher feel to it, it lost this. I feel like it lost what it was in a way. And obviously that's me saying that without ever playing the game. So I could be completely off track. But that's just someone who's only seen that and was expecting something and got part of that and didn't get everything from that expectation. But yeah. Last of Us Season 1 was great, but Season 2 is going to be bad. Don't expect much. Ooh, I wasn't a big fan of Season 1, so we'll see. I love Jack Black and Jason Momoa, but their casting made no sense for Minecraft. Not at all whatsoever. I saw some Jack Black stuff. Is that where we're going real quick? Because, whoo! Harrison Chat, what is your favorite console or PC accessory? Mine was the N64 bongos, if anyone remembers that. No, I don't know that, but that's fun. Accessory-wise, though, Wii, I just grew up while Wiis were like becoming a thing, and the Wii had so many good accessories. The Wii Fit is still like one of the most dumb things ever, but so much fun. And hey, it got like kids excited to move around and play video games, but not sit on their ass for a bit. So that's good, you know. But yeah, I think we had a bunch of really good little accessories like that. But Nate was saying, I'm probably going to go see Minecraft this weekend, but I'm expecting it to be so terrible. Heard nothing but bad things, but I played a lot of modded Minecraft, so I heard Jack Black's intolerable. Yep. It's not even that he's intolerable. It's just you expect it. Everything he does, you're like, you can see it happening before it happens. Nothing is out of the blue, turns the table, changes the narrative. Nothing special. It just is. And if something just is, Atomfall feels like something that just is. It's not something that's like trying to be that weird, quirky fun like a Fallout or Far Cry, again, just to use that example. But when you're there, it's not that it is bleak. It's not that it's bland. It's that the world sucks, and it totally lets you just explore this world that totally sucks. And that can kind of be a little bleak and bland, especially with not a whole bunch of jokes added in, which, you know, Far Cry or Fallout typically does. And, you know, this is kind of that same vein, so you kind of just naturally have that comparison. But at least it tries to do something with it. At least it says something, and it doesn't just say it. It says something, you know, like Minecraft. Really, I'm going to be thinking about that one for the next day, and not in a good way. Jack Black needs to concentrate on making School of Rock the next generation and drop all other projects except Tenacious D, of course. Are they still touring? I know they got in a bunch of trouble last year and all that kind of stuff was going on. But yeah, Tenacious D needs to be the big thing. And School of Rock, I guess if they're doing another one, they don't need to do another one. But if they are doing another one, focus on that. Like Jack Black, I wish he'd go back to having his indie career for a little bit. All the independent movies he did for a while were really good. Really, really solid. He's a really solid actor. But when he wants to just a quick little paycheck, he's really good at getting those too. And there were 3 songs in Minecraft that just they weren't necessary at all. I get that you have Jack Black, but the only reason they're there is because you have Jack Black. Like, they don't They try to make them make sense for the story. It just doesn't work. Doesn't work. Donkey Kong the GameCube was great though. Ayo. The gun for the original NES, Love Duck Hunt. Ooh, yeah, this is a good one. The bongos were great. I go right back to the light gun of the Nintendo Entertainment System. The gun for Duck Hunt was pretty cool on the original NES. Flatboards really are game changing for couch and bed and PC gaming. Paramount put Mean Girls divided into 23 parts on TikTok. The end is not. Oh my God! I leaned over to my roommate while we were watching Minecraft, and I said, "This movie, instead of allowing anything to breathe, is totally just TikTok brain. It's just straight up TikTok brain." And I got a nod back. You know, it was like, yeah. The best Jack Black movie was High Fidelity. He was great in that. He's got a lot of really good roles. And now they're all divided into 23 parts on TikTok. What does the world come to? You mean to tell me Minecraft sucks? I'm shocked. Howdy, Sarah. And yeah, it's not even worth bringing the kiddos to. It was awful. We had a few kids in the theater. There was one chuckle towards the end, and towards the beginning there was one actual laugh from the kids. And it was just bad. It just, there's nothing good about it. Really, I mean, there's really nothing good about it. Everybody's just phoning in. Emma Myers, I think, is the best part about it, and she's just kind of like, why am I here? You know? Which movie had the more unnecessary songs, Joker 2 or Minecraft? Minecraft. I didn't see Joker 2, but they have Lady Gaga. At that point, you're writing songs in there. I guess she didn't really even sing the songs, right? It was mostly Joaquin Phoenix. I guess I do need to watch that one as well. But yeah. Minecraft may suck, but you know what's going to make all the money? Parents will take their kids to it. I don't think so. We were one of 10, maybe 12 people in the theater, and it was a big theater. It was like a 200-person theater kind of deal. Movies should not steal time out of your life. That's why I was mad when I walked out of it. I was like, they had like a fun little Jennifer Coolidge little like in credits, post credits, like, oh, stay to the credits, watch our bloopers and stuff. And I just straight up walked out. Like I turned around like that. I kind of felt awkward because I looked back and saw all the people that were about to walk out. They'd all stopped to look at the Jennifer Coolidge stuff. I turned around, just shook my head and kept walking. And I kind of looked up, you know, and everyone was just looking down like, did he really think it was that bad? You know, it was like kind of that look, and I was like, oh shit, sorry, y'all, you know. The theater seemed to be 70% full. That's better than where we were. That is much better than where we were. And shit, we're not the heart of Hollywood, but we're right adjacent to it. I'm shocked. At least you got to see the new Superman trailer, which got to see online yesterday. What was the point of trying to get people to go to Minecraft to go see that trailer if you're going to post it online the day that Minecraft, or the day before Minecraft drops? Like, make it make sense. I just, hey, Gigwise is here. Howdy. But yeah, just, I didn't make it make sense. Just finished The Last of Us 2 game a couple of weeks ago. Thought it was good, but far too many flashbacks. Please don't do that in the second season. I'm sure they will, but we'll see. Where was I? High Fidelity, 23 parts. I think I heard another YouTuber say, if you can imagine Jack Black after taking an 8-ball, you'll probably enjoy it. Yeah. They made more Never-Ending Stories. I didn't realize that. But yeah, it's Minecraft was awful. So bad. This kind of turned into the second half of it just being a Minecraft hate stream, but not a hate. Yeah, it's a little bit of a hate stream. Oops, sorry. It's movies like Minecraft that are killing the film industry. Soulish cash grabs, and I say that from somebody that I'm from oil country. Like, I'm from Southeast Texas. The capitalist. I was born, raised, and will be capitalist till the cows come home, forever and forever. You know, like, that's just how the brain works. You know, I like money. The world likes money. Money makes the world work. Nonetheless, if you're making a piece of art, there is the money aspect to it. You want to make sure that it's going to have good returns. You really want to make sure you're marketing things well. You want to put a good thought process into it because you're spending the money for it. But nonetheless, it is art, and you have to put heart into the art. Like it is there's HE then art in heart. You know, like come on, games are art totally. Like they are a product. Yes, they're there to make money, but they're art. Games and movies are art. Minecraft was not art. It was not art. It was slop. It was slop, and things like that are killing the industry. Film and everything, film adjacent. Atomfall, at least, obviously not film, but video game wise, I don't know if it's going to be everybody's cup of tea. I really don't know if it's going to be everybody's cup of tea, especially because it is a little bit bleak. It's a little bit slow. It is that detective kind of format over an entire countryside and then some. So there is no fast travel, so it is a much slower paced game. But it's unique, it's original, and even though it didn't name all the NPCs, Atomfall is definitely art. It is definitely art. But yeah, Minecraft was aimed at TikTok, and that's the thing. Like, I don't get it. Like, I grew up when I was like 13, 14, 15. Like, was when Vine was coming out, and Vine was a big thing. You know, like right in like my middle school to like right into high school kind of age. Like that time period for me was all when Vine was a big thing, which we all know, shorter than TikTok, 6 seconds. Right? You know, cool. But people were creative. People did interesting things. Yeah, they did their little dances and stuff like that too, but like they made stories within that amount of time. They told narratives within that amount of time. And TikTok started like that to a degree, but no one ever actually really cared about it. And I think that has been TikTok's biggest fault overall, is just the community that it's built around it. And it's a global community, but it's a global community of people that are willfully and blissfully ignorant on everything. Willfully ignorant, blissfully ignorant on everything, because I'm not going to read articles anymore because the thing that I want out of the article is in the headline. That's what we have now. It sucks. It sucks. I know that's a little bit of a rant. Thank you, Atomfall. Thank you, Rebellion Game Design. Rebellion Studios, I guess, would be the way to say that. Rebellion Games. That is what we need more of. Thank you. but Minecraft, come on, y'all. Y'all, there's a great team behind it. Acting wise, the writers, production team, none of them are like inherently kind of, I don't like to call people that could be possible colleagues in the future. Fingers crossed. Would love to make movies with all these people in the future or something like that. But like, I don't think they're inherently like shitty filmmakers. Excuse my French there, but they're leaning into that. I don't know a better way to say it than like the TikTokism of stuff. And leaning into that has killed our industry, and not just our industry. I feel like it's killed media, social media in general, not just that, but media in general across the globe. Obviously, we're all individuals, but there is kind of a like, you know, that shared human soul. I don't know if that's the right word. That shared human connection between everybody. And I would, obviously, I'm speaking for the whole world right here, but you know, things don't feel like the way they did. And part of when 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 8 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever it may be, everything, you know, life changes, the world changes, but things aren't what they felt like. And the collective consciousness, that's exactly what I was trying to look for. Thank you, Meredith. It feels like that collective consciousness is just sighing. Like, I guess I sighed whenever I was thinking about the word sigh. It's like, there's just been, global psyche. That's another good way of saying that. Both of that, the global psyche, the collective consciousness of the globe, it feels like it's just been in a collective sigh for a bit now. I don't know if it's 4 years, 8 years. Obviously, you can apply politics to that. I don't necessarily think that's it. But on a global grand scale, I feel like there's just been a bit of a collective freaking sigh. And I don't think it's politics, I think obviously the media aspect of that kind of leans into that, and we don't need to jump into that conversation because it'll pop up like it tends to nonetheless. But in our media, I think world media has brought that collective sigh upon us. Does that make sense? Am I speaking out of my ass for the entire world, or am I like hitting the nail on the head? Like, is it somewhere in the middle? I don't know, you know. But I'm very thankful for Atomfall and things like that versus Minecraft. Like, just come on, just give us something with purpose. Did somebody say politics? We all yearn for more. Yeah. I've been finding myself very much yearning for more. Especially within just living in Los Angeles and seeing everything that goes on a film level around here and everything else, you know. Life's interesting, you know. It always keeps us on our toes, and thankfully we still have some people, the Atomfall people, the Rebellion Games people, that are willing to take the time and effort to make something worthy of play, worthy of exploration. That's the best way to say that, exploration, because that invites you to just explore that entire world. Pre-internet was better. And I totally agree with it. I do. Obviously, I'm of the age that I didn't, like, the internet wasn't what it is now, like, as I was, like, growing up. So it was still kind of, you know, I was an outdoor kid. I'm an Eagle Scout. I camped, so on and so forth. I love all that kind of stuff. I need me to build a fire, I'll build a fire for you in 5 minutes, not even, you know. I can do all that kind of stuff, but also I was raised with the phone in my hand, you know. So I appreciate that we have this amount of information, but I think it's an information overhaul, you know, because I was kind of thinking about it where I was watching 1923 the other day, and it was some pretty intense scenes where Spencer's wife has finally found her way to the U.S. She's on Ellis Island, and she's trying to get into the U.S. and is going through customs at the time. And you can guess customs ain't pretty right now. Customs was not pretty back in the 1800s, or early 1900s. Excuse me, 1923 is the time period, like literally. Wasn't great back then either. So she's pregnant at the time. It almost is a being checked to get into the United States. It's almost a grope. There's some bad stuff going on. Just spoilers. I'm trying not to spoil it as well. But long story short, after all this bad stuff happens to her, she gets into the person that is like not the dock master, but the person that yes, customs in 1923. I remember that as well. As do all of us here. It's in the show, of course. But yeah, essentially, she's found her way to the end of customs, and the customs officer, I guess would be the best way to say that, has her at the end. She is just feeling completely violated. Like, why did y'all put me through that? I'm married to a guy in Montana. Like, I'm coming here to raise a family and go find his family. At that moment, she's supposed to prove that she can read and be a valuable citizen that can work in the United States. So she says, screw you, of course I can read. She doesn't say that, but she does so by, oh, this is a book you have on your desk? Let me pick it up. Goes to the back, third of the book, you know, finds a very specific passage that she knows the page number of, and finds the passage. And, you know, there's just, it made me think of, obviously, in the acting world out here, like, we'll have scripts, and, you know, you know scripts, you know, like a big old blank page right there. Is that printer paper? Oh, the bottom half of that is printer paper. Scripts, you know, like you read your scripts, you memorize that, but also it doesn't stick 100%. And I think part of that's just because that information is just everywhere. The internet has allowed information to be so prevalent that now, and I am 1,000% guilty of it, because I'm like a walking encyclopedia for too much random BS I don't need to be a walking encyclopedia about. But I'm intrigued and interested enough in so many different things that I'll learn just a little bit of tidbit of information here, tidbit of information there. And I think we've lost in the collective consciousness kind of becoming more of a jack of all trades and master of none. We've lost that master of one and the mastery of certain things. And I think that 1923 scene illustrates that very well, where at least literate, like well-read society back in then, or now, educated society. I don't know, like the nice PC way of saying that, honestly, but like educated society, people that are well-read, should, and probably any time before 1985, like prior to that, you could probably name or remember a passage from a book. You could find it like, okay, well, maybe I don't know the book number of the exact page, but okay, I can find it in this 4 to 5 page range, pull up this passage, and then read that passage and almost have it memorized, where an actor might have that script memorized or something like that, but it just fleets from the brain, where information is always fleeting. And with the amount that we get now, it's just too much for us to sit back and care, truly care about like a lot of things, certain things. Minecraft and a lot of new products and projects, I guess, from film industry and film adjacent industries have felt like that very much recently. And thankfully, Atomfall does not feel like that. It might be slower, it might be a little bleaker, but at least it is. It's heartfelt, not like a very like warm and loving kind of way, but it's heartfelt, and it feels like something that's like unique and purposeful, very purposeful. We've lost that purpose behind a lot of the things that are created nowadays. And Minecraft has a couple really good quotes about using creativity and being creative because it's Minecraft. I wish they would have actually listened to their own words there. That would have been nice. That would have been very nice. Historians say our brains are 20%. Can't speak now. Went on my rant and just lost the ability to speak. Historians say our brains are 20% smaller than they used to be. We're domesticated like dogs. We've done it to ourselves on purpose. That's why I say like TikTok, and I don't want to poo-poo on it. Like, I hate yucking everybody's yum and stuff like that, but TikTok legitimately is a stain on the world in that sense that it has domesticated us. We have domesticated ourselves with blissful and willful ignorance. But go play Atomfall. Let's bring it back to the fun stuff. That's sad. That's kind of depressing, a little dystopian to think about. But if we're talking about and thinking about dystopian things, you can always bring it right back to Atomfall. But yeah, those are a few kind of rants that kind of went into different spots. Idiocracy. Okay, that's what I saw. I missed a couple chats up there. Predicted all of this more or less. Don't look it up. Fun movie. I love that movie. But yeah. TikTok viewers are 50% smaller. Yeah, I'm not even necessarily specifying that. I'm just talking about like TikTok specifically. I'm talking about the Mr. Beast is honestly where he's done he might be the single most important philanthropist currently on the planet, because he's actually doing things that matter for little people. His editing style leaned into that TikTok editing style, and it is the editing style that has been approached with a lack of narrative, instead of that narrative being purposeful, for lack of a better term, and to keep it within the wheelhouse of what we've been saying. Instead of having purpose with that narrative, it's more boom, 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 boom. This is fun. This is fun. This is really fun. And it just kind of tosses all of it at you all at once. And sorry for anybody in headphones. I know that just got really loud. My bad. But it doesn't sit back to let something breathe. Mr. Beast understood that. In the last year or so, he's been making his videos longer. I think they've been getting better views at times too. Maybe not for everything. But yeah, literally keep the dopamine hits coming. Keep the dopamine hits coming. It's comma, chameleon that came in my head. And I'm gonna get off track if I start singing. That's so I love that song. It's so bad, but it's so good. It's not bad. But yeah, Zoomers today. TikTok brain is right. It's invited an editing style that throughout the world, and Beast, at least Mr. Beast, has realized that let my videos breathe, let this happen. More people are willing to stay if that's the case versus those little dopamine hits. Obviously, he's got everyone subscribing, but not everybody always subscribes to things. I bet you that subscriber, obviously, there is data that might say otherwise, but I would think at least that data would say that his subscriber count has probably gone up. Maybe I guess all the small like scandals or whatever would keep that from happening, but I would at least guess that the longer format, more narrative focused videos he's done has done well. Obviously, it kind of brought him into trying to do a full game show, and hopefully, because he was a big element of that TikTok-ism on YouTube, just in the editing style. Hopefully that TikTokification of TikTok itself, especially with them not focusing so much on short content, will allow it to breathe. But also, I don't get people posting their movies, Mean Girls in 23 parts on TikTok, or Scooby-Doo in 23 parts on TikTok, or A Working Man in 23 parts on TikTok, or whatever it might be. You know, like, post the movie. Allow it or don't. Allow it or don't. Simple as that. YouTube has been allowing it now, and the studios have been posting movies and been making more money than they did just having it sitting in a vault somewhere or taking it out of a streaming service because it would have cost them to have the licenses out. Keep it simple, stupid. You know? And overcomplicating it with that type of editing style that TikTok and Mr. Beast of previous years have had has screwed up so much, and it doesn't keep it simple because it convolutes and overcomplicates everything without overcomplicating it. It only overcomplicates things because there's so much crap there now, and it convolutes things because it loses sight of the story or the narrative that might have been. And like we mentioned with Vine, 6 seconds full of narrative. It's doable. We've all done it in the past. I don't know. I see the TikTokification of society every day in my classroom. It's harder and harder to keep my students focused for 5 minutes. It's changed the way people have to teach. I mean, I would assume that like you definitely would have Monk a better representation of like a visual representation of this than anybody. But it's just, how do you teach someone when they expect that dopamine hit all the time, you know? How do you get them to be interested in a topic if that topic isn't just tossing some serotonin on them every 5 minutes? I don't know the answer to that. I guess trying to spitball it out or think about it while we're here isn't going to work, and it's going to be for smarter minds than mine. But I'm very excited for the day when we figure that bit out. I can count the amount of TikTok videos I've watched on two hands. Me too. Wow, is this a TikTok haters club? It's kind of turned into. Oops. You can't undo the damage of this type of stimulus. I can't speak. You can't undo the damage that this type of stimulation does. Yeah, you really can't. And that's kind of scary. It's kind of scary. I mean, I guess you can, but it takes a lot. It takes years of effort and stuff. It's wild. It's not just TikTok. All social media is making us stupid. Yes. Yeah, very much so. It's so helpful. It's so handy. One of the best things that's ever happened to humanity. One of the worst things that's ever happened to humanity. UDHR27, everyone has the right to freely participate in the cultural life of the community, to enjoy the arts, and to share in scientific advancement and its benefits. I like that. I know everybody didn't love Megalopolis, but the quote at the end of Megalopolis was really great as well. Just inspirational. Copyright and patents need massive reformation. Yes. And I don't know if the people that are actually able to make that reformation can ever agree on what that reformation actually is. But yeah, some reformation is necessary there. And everyone has the rights to the protection of morale and any scientific, literary, or artistic production of which he is the author. Yeah, yeah. I'm right there with you, Monk. I'm right there with you. The quantum entanglement is very, 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 very. Did I mention very complicated to wrap your head around? And I'm not saying I have my head wrapped around it at all, but it's something I've always kind of been intrigued by, and I like that Francis Ford was like, you know what? Let me toss my own money in and do this because nobody else wants to fund it, and it's going to be insane. It's going to be weird. Talk about quirky and weird and like dark humor. Megalopolis was that, and it was muddled. It was very muddled, but it was good. It was good, and the CG was good, and everything that was added to it, like the effects were really good for. And it wasn't a shoestring budget, but for someone individually paying for everything and having a very small team on board to do it. If a studio had actually picked that up and helped pay for things, think about how good that would have looked. Think about how I wish we lived in that timeline. You know, I don't know, but I think 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it's not a movie people are going to look back and watch and say, "Oh my God, this is good because it's so bad," which is kind of how people have approached it since it's been out. But I think people will approach it in a kind of the way a lot of Coppola movies are. Oh, that was odd when it came out, and then after a few years, people were like, "Oh, it's so good." I don't know if it's ever going to reach that "oh, it's so good" kind of feel, but I think Megalopolis will be recognized for what it is and was at the time, and at least people recognize that it was ahead of the curve in many ways. But we'll see. We have gotten out of talking about Atomfall, and I try to rope it back in. I haven't played enough of the game to kind of go full 2 hours just talking about Atomfall just yet. So let's put a pin in this. We're an hour 15 into it. You can't watch it anymore in the U.S. They haven't even released a physical copy of Megalopolis in the States. I'll buy it on Voodoo or Fandango Now or whatever it's called. Hopefully. I played an hour. It was great. Yeah, I really did enjoy it. I thought we were watching a movie tonight with Val Kilmer. So yes, update on that because it was supposed to be yesterday and then tomorrow. Tomorrow we will do. Yesterday, not able to do. Had a doctor's appointment, and whenever I was trying to set everything up, it turns out it said it was on Tubi. It is not on Tubi any longer, and it was going to be I think $5 to rent or $12-13 to buy. So I put a community post yesterday on. Go comment on it. Should we buy those and watch Real Genius and Red Planet, 2 of the 4 Val Kilmer movies, science fiction movies that he did throughout his life? I'll be your Huckleberry. Rest in peace. But yeah, Red Planet and Real Genius. We were going to watch Real Genius and Red Planet, I think, first. Were going to be the first 2 that we watched. And they are both unavailable unless we buy. And I know I don't necessarily want to say, hey, let's do a watch party of a movie that everybody's going to spend at least $5 on or spend $15 on, you know? So the 2 movies that are free, I think The Thaw is his final science fiction movie. And it was on Sling TV for free. And then The Island of Dr. Moreau with Marlon Brando, which isn't the best movie ever, but we'll watch and have a good time with. We'll watch that one on Monday in lieu of Farscapetrion. And that one is on Tubi. That's on Tubi. Yeah. We can watch them when they go free. That's true. So should we go ahead and watch those? I could rent them and they could, whenever they go free eventually, I guess people can always go back and watch them. My only thought then is it's not necessarily ever going to, because obviously you want a stream to get some good views and stuff, and we're not 1,000% focused on that. We're more focused on having a good time. But that's kind of my thought, you know. That's kind of a thought, yeah. but no Heat or Tombstone or Willow. We're just focusing on the sci-fi stuff. Because I'd love to watch all three. Oh, how was it? How was it? I haven't watched it this week yet because my roommate has not seen Tombstone. So by the time, nope, not back yet. I was like, "We'll make you watch Tombstone and make you like promise live on air real quick." No, I'm just waiting to watch it till we have a time to sit down and I can actually like show my roommate Tombstone for the first time because it's just so damn good of a movie. I could watch it myself and then watch it again, but then again, there's so many things going on and so many other things I need to watch. Anyone live around St. Louis, Missouri? Hey, that's where Schmook and Brad, who are Afterthoughts crew and M-Cube crew, now Cinema Trek, of course. They're St. Louis folk. So we have some SciTrek family, extended fam there. If anybody in the chat is. I know Mark is always Iowa region and stuff like that, but we got people all over. I know we talked about it a little bit the other day, Sarah. Sarah may or may not have been recognized at the Emerald City Comic Con, I think 2 weekends ago now, something like that. And if y'all ever do see any of us in public, obviously, be respectful. Don't scare the hell out of us. Or at least make it funny if you scare us. If you scare us, got to make it funny. But if you do ever see any of us around or anything like that, or anybody that, you just know from friends of the channel or anything like that, tap on our shoulder and say hi. Run. Yeah, scare me, so then I'm going to be sprinting around. I don't scare easily, but what if I do? You're either going to get a good yell and, a fist ready to go at you, or I'm going to kick something and get the hell out of Dodge, one or the other. So be prepared. But, yeah, if y'all ever see any of us, yeah, always wave or say howdy or anything like that. Seeing Panic Room for the first time tonight, excited. Panic Room. 2002? Oh, Jodie Foster and Jared Leto. And Forrest Whitaker and Kristen Stewart. I've never seen this, but Jodie Foster, Jared Leto, I feel like I've watched a video on this or something like that before. It looks really good. I'm going to come hang out with you. Come hang out. LA Comic-Con this year particularly, we're hopefully going to be able to get a good chunk of the SciTrek crew there. And if that ends up happening and panning out the way we would love it to, we might as well have a meet and greet type of day there. Oh, it's Fincher. Count me in. Count me in. Fincher is one of those few guys that I adore absolutely every single thing I think he's ever produced or directed or written kind of deal. I definitely haven't seen all of them, though, and I've never sought out, let me have a David Fincher weekend and watch all of his movies or something like that, I should. I really should. But yeah, we have some crazy Rolling Thunder going on here right now. Ooh. Are you just talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder? Okay. That's not Missouri. Close, though. What the hell is that? Oh, Missouri City is Kansas, right? I always that whole region. Y'all got some funky names up in there and kind of borrow each other's names every now and then. But yeah, Fincher hasn't made a bad movie. I don't think so. When are tickets going on sale for which thing? Which thing? It's hard. Oh, tickets going on sale for LA Comic-Con. They may already be because it is September. I'm not entirely sure. Hard to find a place to sleep. Yeah, that's true. Especially around cons because hotels, they raise their prices a little bit and they are booked out. Oklahoma City's 9.5 hours from St. Louis. Wow. I guess that makes sense. Just geographically, I always kind of place them all, and they are next door neighbors and stuff, all in that area. But I'm from Texas. Whenever I drive home, I'm from 20 minutes from Louisiana in Texas. So whenever I'm driving home from LA, it takes half the 24-hour journey to get to Texas, and the other half the 24-hour journey to get from El Paso to the part of Texas I'm from. So yeah, no, I get you. It's some good driving. It always throws me off. People that spend a lot of time up in the Northeast or or just generally from the Northeast, in the U.S. at least, where they're like, well, yeah, I just went to New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine all within an afternoon yesterday, and gonna go to Pennsylvania tomorrow or something. Like it's just like, what? That's a county to me. It's just kind of funny. Everything's bigger in Texas. It is. Until you get to Alaska. I've started saying that because everything's bigger in Texas. It is. Until you get to Alaska. That thing is that entire state is amazingly gorgeous. And it is just the largest piece of untouched land I think I've ever witnessed in life. And I've been lucky and afforded the ability to go to Africa a couple times. And the little bits that you fly over are some wild lands. I was in Cameroon in the Congolese kind of jungles last May, and talk about some freaking wild territory. But Alaska's the last frontier. Alaska and probably like Siberia. It was just amazing. And travel. Family's big travelers. Went on some safaris and stuff. Some gorgeous hiking. The hiking in Cameroon, which was dangerous. Dangerous as hell, but also just amazing. We had a tree fall on us at a certain point. And the guides that were with us ushered my dad on one side of the tree and me into one side of the tree and just kind of like shoved us and said, like, push up against a tree at one point. Because trees, whenever it's raining in the rainforest, the soil is so loose, it washes away, and trees are falling over. And we just didn't make it back out in a time that we thought we could. Just kind of got excited about adventuring some, and we had to shove ourselves in the trunk of a tree at one point because we had a tree fall down, and it technically hit us both, but it was like branches scraping against our back, So I have been hit by a tree, but thankfully not actually hit by a tree. And that was only because of like the split-second decision of this one guide. And, my dad and I are walking, a bunch of guides are all around. We're all hanging out, like looking and adventuring and doing all this cool stuff. And then start running back when all this rain's happening. And then you hear this one big crack. There wasn't a moment between the hearing the crack of the tree starting to fall and just a hand between like the small of both of our backs. It just, my dad first in the back of a tree, me here in the side of the tree, and you're just hanging out in between like the giant root structure, is pretty much on the outside of the tree a lot of the times, or out above the ground sometimes because that root system is so shallow. And damn, like it was just intense. It's just it's a beautiful place, but it's intense. The only thing that kept us from actually getting hit was the fact that it just hit that tree. We were shoved in the right spot, and just were in the right nook and cranny. Yeah, but yeah, going on a cruise in August, I think, and it's gonna be in. One of the places we're going is Morocco for just a little bit there. And I'm really excited about that. Just so I can say I hit Africa again this year, even though it's just going to be one day and it's going to be off of a cruise port. And that's not going to be like some big adventure or anything like that. But hell yeah, just to say I was there for this year again, managed to make it back to Africa, and did a little bit of exploring. Alaska, though, God, if I could go back to Alaska every year and explore, I would. There's so much space to explore out there. There's so many things. It's just amazing. I haven't. My birth mom's been to Asia, lived in the bottom part of Russia for 5 years. Her husband worked for an oil company and like lived in like the southeast part. It was like almost a peninsula right down by the Koreas. And I've heard some really fun stories, amazing stories just about that part of the world, but haven't ventured there. Huge, high up on the bucket list. But yeah, at this point, we've talked about everything outside of Atomfall, and trying to find that road back towards Atomfall, which is a really fun game so far. I know I haven't played a whole bunch of it just yet, but it is a really, really good one, seemingly. So yeah, let's adventure the world. Let's adventure Atomfall, because continuing Atomfall is on my bucket list as well, and all these places we keep talking about. Oh my god, yes, yes, please. Everywhere is my bucket list. I'm not going to be happy till I've been everywhere. Just kidding. I'm a happy-go-lucky kind of dude, but the contentness might not be there till I have ventured and explored many places. It's totally okay to chat about life too. Yeah. I just like to try to kind of keep it on topic if possible. Of course, in the second half of the stream, we kind of let it veer a little bit, but yeah, I am enjoying Atomfall and exploring it. Kind of in talking about exploring all these different places as well. I think it's gonna be a good game. I'm excited, and if y'all are down, of course, every other Friday when we're not talking about Fallout, we may start talking about different wastelands, and I think Atomfall, especially being the game that's out and new right now, is kind of an apt and perfect way to jump into that. If y'all are down, y'all let me know, of course. But yeah, let me know. What is the next Chevron Award on Sunday? Sarah, if you're here, I think we decided acting. Yeah, there will be a show on Sunday. I don't think any of us have any conflicts. So we should be just normal. But what is the next Chevron Award on Sunday? I think we're going to get into acting. Actually, oh, my phone's in the other room. Give me half a second. I'm going to leave you with a 30-second countdown. I'll be right back. Actually, I'm going to give you this. I'll be right back. Because I saw in our old group chats that something was going on. Next is best TV and wait. Y'all are gonna help me respond to this text message now, because I did miss these while I was in the movie earlier and before I had to jump back on here. Best TV and movie performance, actor or actress. Series ever, and then should we do? I guess there are three options given here. Movie or TV? Let's all join the group chat. Yeah, on Sunday. Oh yeah. I guess our options are next best TV and movie performance, actor or actress. Then we have SciTrek greatest movie and series ever, or should we do a franchise TV and movie award? Dramatically, my brain is having a little bit of trouble. But I guess we're going to either be doing TV and movie performance with an actor or actress, the greatest movie and sci-fi series ever, or instead of the greatest sci-fi movie and greatest sci-fi series ever, we might do greatest sci-fi franchise TV and movie IP awards. So either acting or overall. And then at that point, I think we'll be we're trying to. JB listening to Manchester Derby. Yeah. I don't know entirely what the overall plan is with the Chevron Awards. I think the next, hopefully, those are our last two Chevron Awards, and then we can get into the actual bit of, awarding the ones that win. Posting the, not timelines, what am I looking for? Not questionnaires, voting thing. What word am I looking for? The thing that you can vote on to figure out who wins each category. What word is just completely escaping my brain right now? But anyway, y'all get the gist of that. We probably have two Chevron Awards left to nominate until we get to actually awarding these things. So that'll be fun. David's asking, what if it's CGI performance? Polls! It's always the simple words that just escape the brain at times, But yeah. Whenever the polls are out, we will, of course, triple let you know, quadruple let you know all the time for like a week or two, however long we end up having them out there. I don't know if there's a way that we can do polls without y'all being able to see the results. are as well. Maybe that doesn't matter, and we just talk about it and figure out if, oh, okay, that seems like that seems like people voted the way of, not popular kind of thing. They voted the way they actually wanted to vote. Because if you just do a normal YouTube poll, you might hit that and then, hey, well, 40% of people voted on this. Oh, but I voted on the thing that had 7%. So I'm going to click on the 40% now. And now it's 41%. That happens too often. And we want to just be like a quick little thing, that instinctual vote right there. And then we'll see who wins, That's kind of the idea there. Will anyone be happy with the winners? Probably not. Hey, but compromise is two people or two sides coming together and not being fully happy with what's there. So you know what? Can Jay end the polls when his choice concludes? Probably. But no. We'll see. I don't think we're gonna have any say in it at all. I think we're just kind of the liaisons for everyone. I guess we have a say because we ended up being the ultimatums for writing and crossing out things that came on. But yeah, this is gonna be mostly audience based, so we'll see. But outside of that, this has been the Radical Wasteland podcast, and it's been a fun one, a little bit different than usual. No Fallout today, but we got Atomfall instead. And anything with fall in the title that involves something nuclear, atomic, you might say. It's pretty damn fun. Seemingly, so far at least. But that is it for today from us over at SciTrek here. And tomorrow I will be here to watch The Thaw. If you want to watch The Island, I actually posted something in the community page. Let me just make sure I'm saying the right thing. The Thaw, yes, is this Saturday at 10:30. Sunday, we have all Pacific Standard Times, of course. 10:30, we'll be watching The Thaw, the final movie of the science fiction genre from good old Val Kilmer. And Monday, we'll watch The Island of Dr. Moreau in lieu of Farscape Trion. And I think Wednesday, we did Stargate Outpost this past week, so we might have a week off on Stargate Outpost, but we should be back with typical Fallout Fridays and your Radical Wasteland podcast next Friday. And anything else that pops up, we shall let you know. Do you use Discord? Yeah, but not very well. Not very well. I don't necessarily understand it super well. We do have a SciTrek Discord. I believe it's in the community, or not. It should be in the community tab somewhere as well, but it is in the description of each one of our videos. So if y'all aren't members of our Discord, hop in there and start some conversations. It's always a good time. I'm not the best about using it, or because I don't really understand it super duper well. But if we're having conversations in there, I'll be popping in. We'll be having conversations if it's good sci-fi stuff. Let's do it. But thank y'all for being here. This was a great stream. I was kind of a little bit hesitant about it, obviously, because only played 3.5, 4 or 5 hours of Atomfall so far. Almost said Fallout, but really have enjoyed the game so far. It seems to be like something that I might be able to go back to for maybe 5 years from now. Enjoyed it at the end of the day. It seems like something I'd probably go back to. Avowed earlier in the year, a couple months back or a month ago, whatever it was, is similar. It's a little bit more goofy and zany, I guess would be a good way to say that. But Atomfall is very purposeful, very specific, and I like it. It's unique. I'm enjoying it. Yeah, see y'all later. I think it's just Harris McGrade. I think that's all it is. I think it's just my normal name. Pretty sure. Yeah. Look for me in the SciTrek one, and you should be able to see me in those members there, or comment something in that, and then I can comment, and you'll see me real quick. But yeah, y'all join the Discord if you haven't, because that's always a great thing. Start some conversations there, and let's talk some Atomfall. Let's talk some Fallout. Let's talk some Stargate, Star Trek, Star Wars. All the above. All the time. Talk some fun sci-fi. Y'all have a great day. Great, I guess, rest of your weekend, because it is Friday now, so get that weekend going, and see y'all soon. See y'all tomorrow. Adios, y'all.